Hello, YouTube. Hello, Facebook. Welcome to Two Pastors and a Podcast. Do. Does it feel like a longer walk? I feel your shirt today, by the way. I resemble that. Can't even. Not today.
I can't even. Yeah, you're a single mom in it.
That's super fun.
Yep.
Super fun. I did like 3 assignments in 2 days. So I wrote my big paper yesterday so that I could be here today and tomorrow to get stuff ready for Saturday. My brain is dead, so.
Yeah.
You get what you get, guys.
Get what you get. Don't throw a fit.
You can. I just won't listen.
I'm just making sure I could hear myself. All right, here we are.
Are you still tired?
It's Thursday. I keep, my insomnia is back.
Oh.
So I'm up at 4:30 every day.
Ugh.
So I've already worked a little bit on my sermon.
Nice.
Sort of started working on T-shirts. Drank a pot of coffee.
At 4?
Well, I had to make it first.
Ugh.
Took about 15 minutes. I did a load of laundry.
That's good.
That's how I spent my day.
If I'm awake, I'm up.
What else you got?
I don't know. I'm
going to lay there and I'm going to think about all my regrets in life, all my worries about how my body feels and what that could mean as far as my early termination. And worry about all the things that I have to do. Or I could just get up. And that's what I did.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have a friend who has really bad insomnia. Mine has gone away, thankfully. But she reads. She's like, that's when I get all my reading done. I'm like, I would never sleep.
My eyes, no. I'm not necessarily a morning person. Mm-hmm. I do not like sleeping in. I think it's lazy, and I don't like people that do. And it's not because
Heard it here first.
I know. It's not because I'm like, ooh, morning time. Mm-hmm. No. I don't want anyone to talk to me. Mm-hmm. I don't want to talk to anybody. I barely like talking to people as it is when the sun's up and you're in a good mood. But not in the morning. But there's something about being up that feels right. Mm-hmm. And it gets me going for the day and I'm not running behind and those kinds of things. So yeah, I feel like sleeping in is for a teenager and not for an adult.
Fair enough. Do your dogs follow you around when you get up? Or do they stay in bed?
Wherever Carrie is.
Fair enough.
That's
Freya for sure, right?
Oh, yeah. Curls up on her head.
I could not.
Before she starts growling because she's got to use the restroom.
Dogs.
Yeah. Yep. So, Easter's over.
We did it.
How do you feel?
Tired.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the lasting memory from this Easter is going to be you going to dunk Asher and him saying no as he tried to twist out of it.
I'm like, dude, you're halfway down. You're going in.
I just started laughing because it was so funny to watch him fight it. Last minute regret.
So I talked to him afterwards. First of all, we sat down in front of the baptismal and he goes, Mommy, I'm never doing that again. I go, well, you don't have to. So
I wish everyone felt that way.
But he said, do you know why I said no, Mommy? I said, I have no idea. I wish you would tell me. Because I wasn't ready.
Oh, that's fair.
I go, you mean like you forgot to take a breath or you wanted to wait until next year? And he goes, I took a big breath and then you started talking.
Oh, he wasn't ready.
He literally was not ready.
I haven't got a breath yet. Poor guy.
You could take a breath instead of yelling no, but it's okay. It's all right. He survived.
Once you cover the mouth, you got to go.
Yep, you got to go, man.
You got to go.
So it was just really funny.
No,
dunk.
Twist back. It's like that. Boy, that was it.
It It was really funny.
That was it. So outside of I'm tired. I'm still exhausted. I turned off my Facebook, all my pastor accounts. I took a couple of phone calls that I needed to take. It wasn't like I sabbaticaled. Because Terry was in the hospital, so I spent some time talking to him, and then talked to Missy the other day about something we had to talk about. But that was it. And I have a lot. I have a lot I got to catch up on. But I was utterly exhausted. I'm still feeling it, like mentally.
Oh, yeah.
My brain's like,
you
just preached 4 sermons.
It was a lot.
And you did a board retreat all in an 8-day time frame. It was bananas.
Well, I was thinking about all the stuff that I had to do this morning to get ready for training and then VBS. And I was like, I don't like Easter being this late.
I kind of like it.
I do not.
I kind of like it. It gave me lots of time between Christmas and the next big holiday. It also gave our sunrise pancake breakfast real sunrise at 7:00 instead of 5:00.
Yeah.
Or 4:30 or 5:30 or whatever time it normally was. And we were blessed this year because the sunrise was really pretty.
It was really pretty.
Now, I don't know how many people looked at it, but...
Keith, I'll call you in a minute.
Oh, he doesn't. Hey, get the memo, man. It's Quick Fire Thursday.
It's Quick Fire Thursday.
What are you doing?
He's
bored.
He's working.
Hard at work, they say.
He's actually going around to like 50 million buildings. And so as he's driving through Camp Lejeune, he calls me. He's like, I'm bored.
That's what I do when I'm driving. I'll call Carrie and just kind of get it all out. Well, anyway, so overall, as tired as I am, I was really happy with Easter this year. I don't know how many people we had on Sunday. Not that I'm much of a bean counter anymore, but
it was a good amount.
It was a decent amount of folks.
It felt like the last few Sundays felt like all our family's back. You know, like the winter was really hard.
Yes, it was.
And the last few Sundays, everybody's been here for the most part, and I'm just like, yes.
Yeah, still lingering sicknesses and stuff. So I'm glad those are starting to be done. Because this winter was rough.
It was.
On illness. I think we say that every year, but...
It just feels like...
It does.
It feels worse.
Nonstop this year. It was crazy.
I'm hoping next year's my year. Because I won't have a kid in preschool. Come on.
No.
Come on.
I don't know. Early elementary is rough, too. So, for 9 years... we moved into this building in July of 2018. And over that almost 7-year period now, we're nearing 7 years in this building. Over that 7-year period, every Easter we've been trying to figure out who we are, how we're going to utilize our space on a week like that, how to make that significant. And over the years, I've wrestled a little bit with how obsessed the church is of trying to do abnormal things on Easter Sunday to try to impress the masses. That's true. It's what they do. But, and so I try, I've always maintained, keep it as normal as possible. I don't want visitors to come and be like, wow, this church is really something. They come back the next week, they're like false advertising. So I keep it as normal as possible. Obviously, baptisms are a big thing that we do every Easter, and I love doing that on Easter Sunday. But at Holy Week, even from Ash Wednesday on, Lent, Holy Week, the whole thing, Good Friday, we just kind of like throwing darts at a dartboard. So I think the first big thing we did in this building, we did this big prayer walk thing in here, and we set up 12 stations of the cross. And you got a little workbook. You came in and you went from station to station. Did not think that through well. Because we didn't time it. It took you like 45 minutes to get through the stuff.
Wow.
It was really well done. It was bananas. Also, because it was the first time we'd ever tried, no one really knew what was going on. People were invited that weren't typical churchgoers, and it kind of like, ooh, you know. Probably the craziest thing that I did, though, in that room, in the family room, I wrapped a body.
Oh, no.
Yeah. People had to sit in there with what looked like a corpse. You know, you win some, you lose some. So there was that. And then we decided, okay, let's not do anything like that.
Let's not sit with a corpse again.
Let's not. In fairness, it was just my stormtrooper wrapped up.
That's still pretty funny, though.
Yeah. Then we did a Good Friday lunch, which was probably my personal favorite.
I liked that one. That was fun.
Yeah. What? Fried chicken from Kroger and a bunch of sides, and we just had a great time. But it, you know, only a select group of people get to come to something like that. So I personally love that one the most. But it just didn't seem like we could pull that off in a meaningful way for everyone.
Right.
And then last year we didn't do anything because I was burnt out. We've tried various things. Never tried to do like a whole like Thursday, Friday, Saturday into Easter kind of thing. So this year was that after coming out of sabbatical, I told you like I want to make sure we do the special seasons, what they do for them, what they deserve, highlight them and make them special this year. So we were going to work extra hard. We worked extra hard this year. I think the church appreciates, but I don't think any layperson can ever fully appreciate how much work went into Family Sunday, Palm Sunday, all the way through Easter. It was an enormous amount of work, an enormous amount of planning. However, all that said, I feel like we found what works for us as a church this year. So Family Sunday was really great. It's a great way to start Holy Week.
Yeah.
Tanner did a great job on the puppet script. Lily did a great job doing her puppet. So it was a fun, kind of cheeky way to kind of do that. Sermon in the Sack was fine. Went way in a much different direction than the kids thought we were going to go. But that's what you get.
That's what you get.
But what I was probably most impressed about were the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night services. And again, I'm not too concerned with numbers anymore. I just remembered numbers makes me think of pastor's report, and I'm 2 days late on my district pastor's report.
Which is Sunday.
Monday,
sorry.
But they wanted it 2 days ago so they could print them out.
Now you're going to have to print them out.
Nah, I mean, I'll send it in. I don't much care about it. But anyway, so
Squirrel.
I'm not much of a counter anymore, but what I told you, I would be really happy if we broke 20 people each night, just because we're a small church. This is a new for us, especially 3 nights in a row followed by an early Sunday morning service. And we had, counting kids, I mean, we had almost 40 adults here each night. Again, we're a small church, so that's a fantastic number for us. But it was consistent every single night. And then, and each night was special on its own. They were very brief. They went about 35 to 45 minutes apiece. Could have shortened in a couple of ways. I'll make some adjustments for next year. But they were really simple and meaningful, but well done. And I think everyone really liked that journey through those 3 different components of Holy Week. And then we had 40 people for breakfast at 7:00 Easter Sunday morning.
Yep.
Which is bananas.
Yep.
Did not expect 40 people for breakfast.
It's a good thing we got those extra sausages.
I know. I was really, really happy about that because you just never know. Now, next year will be earlier than, No. But then we had our service at 8:30 afterwards, and everyone was here. No one showed up late, whatever. And it was, we had everybody here. It was great. I don't think there was a church attender or regular attender or member that wasn't here Easter Sunday morning. So it felt if we had our whole family here.
Yeah.
And it was really great. It was quick, simple. It was kind of crazy because we were out of here by 10 o'clock.
I know.
Like, I'm on my way home. The Formula One race, I got to watch the whole thing, which is super boring, but I still got to watch it.
It brought you joy. That's
so
fine.
So it was a really cool day. So I guess all that to say, like, I think we found a really great foundation for our church. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah.
All the hard work, I think, paid off. And so I think the way we'll do it from now on is just that way every year. We'll have our family service on Palm Sunday, and we'll have our Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday services that will be brief. And then every year, I think no matter when the sun comes up, there'll be a 7 o'clock Easter sunrise pancake breakfast, followed by church service at 8:30. I just thought that was great.
It was.
So I'm really happy and pretty pleased and absolutely thrashed mentally and exhausted. So.
Yep.
And this week's really busy too because it's Be the Light. We start on Sunday. All our shirts are in and they look great. So here we go. The next thing, followed by the next thing, which is VBS. And that's right around the corner, too.
I keep forgetting that we have district assembly this weekend, too.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to go. I think I kind of just want to send in my report and say kind regards. I vote yes on everything. Not that it matters, but I vote yes on everything. I don't want to go. It's been a long time since I felt that way, but I just really don't want to go. I'm not going to sing in the ordinance choir this year, that's for sure. I ain't wearing no black suit. I'm going in my jeans and my polos.
That's on Sunday night, right? They've changed everything.
Yeah, I know.
It's a lot shorter than it was.
It is, but it kind of felt needlessly stretched the past few years. So I'm grateful. I think having one day where people have to take a day off to go will enable more young people to attend.
Yeah, I hope so.
District Assembly, which
will be good.
Vastly, you are outnumbered by gray hairs
Yep.
at our district assemblies, which is a really sad reality for the Church of the Nazarene, but here we are.
Yes, indeed. Here we are.
Okay, well, it's quite literally just me and you today. There's no one online. But
Aww. Miss you, Missy.
I know, miss everyone.
You know
Although maybe some people are
You know
on
what
YouTube.
she told me?
No.
She said, I listened to most of it when you guys are live, and then I listened to the rest in the shower. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about being in the shower with you, Missy.
Well, that's fair. This is...
She is. You don't have a choice. I just told everybody your secret. Sorry.
Hey,
Not
you
sorry.
know that? I mean, that's the way to do it, though. I watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 1989 cartoon, in the shower every morning.
Why do you watch TV in the shower?
I got it for Carrie. I got this little waterproof phone holder. So you slap your phone in there and close it. Because then I don't think about things.
Oh.
My problem is I overthink. I overthink about everything, and I can't get my brain to shut off. And so having that in front of me keeps me from arguing with ghosts.
Oh, I did that the other day. It's fun.
I was doing it in here. I was emptying the baptismal this morning. I was sorting shirts, and I'm in here yelling at somebody. Not yelling at them, but arguing with ghosts.
I always tell God, I just have to get it off my chest. You can listen in.
Yeah, right.
This is how I feel. I
wish-
just got to get it off my chest.
I wish. I wish. Okay. It's your turn. Do you have a question for us today?
I do.
Okay.
I want to know if anybody ever asks you for a book recommendation, what do you tell them? What book recommendations do you have? Fun books and educational books.
I'll be real honest about fun books.
He doesn't like them.
No, I wish I could read fun books, but I have to read so much.
Yes.
that reading is work to me.
Fair
Even
enough.
when it's just a fun book. It's just more work. So the last series that I read as books, I was in seminary, where it was the Hunger Games trilogy. That was the last. Well, let me be real honest.
It's a long time ago.
My only fun books I've ever read.
Really?
Well, I read one book in elementary school or middle school, Rescue Josh McGuire. I love that book. I don't know why.
Because it's the same first name.
Barely remember anything about it. I think he was lost in the mountains. But anyway, I mean, we were supposed to read books. I never did. I never needed to because I'm really good at intuition and picking things up and being able to get things done without doing a lot of work. So I kind of skated by. And then in high school, I went to a private Christian school, which was a joke. You know, we didn't read anything. I never wrote a paper, didn't learn anything like that, which is the problem with a lot of private schools. They don't value education very much. But anyway, so I didn't have to read there, went to college, and then it's serious reading.
Lots of reading.
Didn't read a lot there either. and then seminary came around, and I don't know, Kindle had just come out, and then they had the free books, and the Hunger Games were on there, and just really enjoyed reading those 3 books in a row. Carrie read them as well.
You know, she's written a couple more.
Yeah, I don't care.
Don't want to read those?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't want to read for fun.
Okay, fair enough.
So I guess the only recommendation I would
the
have...
Hunger Games.
And Rescue Josh McGuire.
That's it. Okay, serious books. What serious book would you recommend?
Farewell to Mars. As far as like a modern read that's not too theologically heavy. I mean, it's theologically heavy, don't get me wrong, but not like academically theologically heavy. Stanley Hauerwas's Resident Aliens, I think, is absolutely essential for our culture today, especially the American Evangelical Church. Stanley Hauerwas does a great job of reminding us that we are all aliens. We are all residents in the land in which we live. We are citizens of our countries for sure, but we're all resident aliens. And I think that's a really important work to read still. Farewell to Mars, I think, is really important to steer us as a church back on track from kind of this nationalistic, branded by a political iron side. I think we need to be prophetically corrected, and I think Farewell to Mars helps with that. It's not the perfect book maybe necessarily, and I'm not saying everyone has to agree with every word that's written in it, but I think it's really important to wrestle with. So Stanley Hauerwas, and then if you want a really deep theological work, Alexander Schmemann's For the Life of the World, which is really talking about Christ and the atonement of Christ and his body. So I think those 3 books I'd say are important.
Nice.
Yeah.
So people learned something today. Don't give Josh a book for pastor appreciation. He won't read it.
Oh, I promise. No shame. Now, Mike gave me one, and it transformed how I tackled the
board retreat.
The board retreat. There it is. So that was really good on strategic leadership. That was really helpful to me. He also gave me another one called Margin, which has been super helpful to me on creating margin in your life and how we don't. And then the Boundaries book he gave me. So again, not fun readings, but all of them books I needed. So they're profound in their moment for me. But as far as like, if you could go read one, I would tell everyone to get Zahn's Farewell to Mars. And, if you wanted to dive into my brain a little bit, Resident Aliens and For the Life of the World, but you'd have to really Schmeemann's work, you will really need to good
I
luck.
think I started reading that.
Good luck.
And I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, good luck.
My brain is tired already.
Good luck. Good luck. It's so good though. You have to, any pastor should read that. You have to read it. NBC, Nazarene Bible College probably won't agree. They probably want you to read Chronicles of Narnia or something like that.
Hey, I actually like those books.
Yeah, they're not great though. But anyway, okay, so what's yours? Yeah, for fun and for serious?
For serious.
Okay, for fun first.
For funsies, I just got off a Brandon Sanderson kick, and people are going to have opinions because he's Mormon. But I like all of his books. You didn't know that.
I don't even know who the guy is, but Mormons, their beliefs, they're kind of crazy.
Just a little.
They're kind of crazy. They're all going to become gods someday.
Mm-hmm. Have their own planet.
Yeah, I don't know.
He doesn't write like that though.
Yeah, I wonder if it's subliminal.
It might be.
It
is fantasy, which he has to come from it somewhere.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Didn't we just talk about Aslan?
Yep. Which, by the way, first of all, sorry, squirrel moment, but it's just us anyway. I started listening to The Fellowship of the Ring, narrated by Andy Serkis. So I've read The Fellowship of the Ring before, long time ago. But I wanted a book that I could just listen to for funsies. And Andy Serkis did Gollum. He played Gollum. And I think it was during COVID or something he recorded this. Probably, everybody did crazy things during COVID.
You had to.
You were bored. But I really like the way that he's performing the book. I told Keith it's kind of it doesn't have music and sound effects, but it feels like a graphic novel the way that he's, or like a nice graphic audio the way that he's performing it. So I'm really enjoying that. So yes, I would recommend Lord of the Rings. I think it's a good book.
Oh yeah, that would be worth it.
It's a good book.
Yeah, I tried listening to it.
I
even get bored listening to books. My life's been ruined.
I don't have any funsies books that changed my life. You know what I mean?
I don't know if they're supposed to. I can't even play video games that are story driven. If I have to read on a screen, I'm done. So there's where I'm at.
And I read a lot. I read a lot. And there's not any that stand out to me as you have to read this. If you like fantasy, sure, I got some recommendations for you. If you like sci-fi, I got recommendations for you. I just read Red Rising, which is a newer series. That's sci-fi. I enjoyed that.
You cannot go wrong with Lord of the Rings.
Yep. Lord of the Rings is great.
Can't go wrong.
People are going to complain that he describes trees and whatever, but it's a book, guys.
Here's the problem. This is the problem with Christianity today.
Oh, we're going to Christianity. Okay, yeah, go.
This is the problem. We're so arrogant. This Enlightenment people. We're so arrogant. And I'm getting really tired of it.
We
Easter
have
brain.
Tired Josh.
I'm getting really tired of it because, you go online, you see people just trashing each other. Mm-hmm. You hear pastors just using the word they all the time. Mm-hmm. Anytime there's a song written, anytime there's you get these keyboard warriors and internet strong men and women who, to garner a following, rip everyone else apart, whatever. So, and now we're so arrogant that we'll look at books like that. Mm-hmm. We're like, well, there's magic. Come on, people, shut up. Just look for the spiritual things that are actually happening in there and celebrate that God gave people creative capacity to be able to write gospel narrative in ways that engage people that you couldn't normally engage. Instead, we're all here infighting. They are.
Just stay off the internet.
They
guys.
are.
Just stay off the internet.
So now I'm starting to yell. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of modern Christianity. What are you inviting people into? You're inviting them in and saying, don't listen to those guys, though. They're bad people. Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Good.
done.
He's
done.
done. Okay.
I got it.
We'll be good by Sunday, I promise.
Okay.
And then my for realsies book is the Square Peg. I like that one a lot.
Oh, Square Peg. Why Nazarenes are not fundamentalists.
Yes.
It's not true anymore.
It is not. But
it is.
it should be.
That is a really good book.
It is. I really enjoyed it.
Al Truesdale, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's probably one that I would read again.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there's not many books that I will say that I will pick up again, but that one I probably would.
That is a really good book.
It is an easy read.
Yeah, maybe we should maybe I should order a few of those copies. I've been collecting a set of books out on the connection point table just to say, hey, you want to read? Go borrow one. Just bring it back.
Yeah. We could get stamps, Harbor Nazarene or Josh Jones or whatever.
Yeah, we could do that.
Stamp them.
Mm-hmm.
On, when was it? Family Sunday?
Yes.
It was Family Sunday. Lily was sitting in my office as I was getting some stuff ready. And she goes, I'm bored. I left my book at home, blah, 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 blah. And so I go up to my bookshelf and I grab Grace, Faith, and Holiness. I go, here, start your theological journey.
Oh, Ray Dunning.
And she started reading it. She's like, I don't even know what I just read, Caitlin. I know.
I know.
It was funny. So I would recommend that one too. That's a good one. If you want to go real deep in theology.
That is a good one too. Yeah. Square Peg, though, we should get a copy of that here and have it on the table for people to read.
I'm going to get my own.
Yes, you should. Yeah.
Eventually.
You borrowed mine?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's right. I have some good books on my bookshelf.
Top shelf. You got to go to the top.
My top shelf.
Got to go to the top
Literally
shelf.
the top shelf. Those are ones that if you just walked into my office and you grabbed a book off my shelf and thought, this won't steer me wrong. I'm curious as to what's in this. This might change my life. Top shelf. Mm-hmm. Every time.
I've read quite a few of those books.
Just grab one and go. You might not understand it right away. Jim tried one. He did Brueggemann's Prophetic Imagination. He said, I think that's too far over my head.
Oh, Jim.
Which,
Which is saying something.
Brueggemann's a big thinker. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it. But like I said, I'm a deep thinker, and I like to be challenged that way. We were sitting around the dinner table last night, and Emma is her mom. Mm-hmm. Emma doesn't like silence. Mm-hmm. Emma also likes to be engaged with people, which is completely foreign to me. And so we're sitting there, and she just has to have small talk. Mm-hmm. Chit chat. And I was like, girl.
We should put Emma and Ella in a room together.
I was like, girl, Emma, you're such a busybody. You got to tell me everything about everyone. I said, I don't like chit chat. You need to stop. Carrie's like, oh, you should hear the van on the way home from school. It's just one after the other after the other. I'm like, I can't. I said, Emma, if you want to talk about something deep, we can talk about something deep, but you got to stop. I just need you to stop talking. And Carrie's laughing, and I'm like, listen, I'm okay with silence. Not all you. If there's nothing to say, guess what? You don't have to say anything. I'm a bit tough when it comes to that, and I wasn't saying it in a mean way. Please hear me. It was just kind of a joking way, but Emma is just constant.
We were in where were we? Cracker Barrel or someplace, and Ella was talking about something, and I bend down and I go, honey, you don't have to say every word that comes into your head.
Oh, she does though.
You can keep some things inside.
No, I don't think she does.
And she does not.
She doesn't.
Love that girl. But she and Emma should just
go
into a room
they
together.
Would tear up the town someday. That's for sure. In the meantime, Lily is like me. She doesn't really want to talk to anyone. And Margot Margot will talk to anyone so long as it's online.
You know what that girl said to me today on Sunday?
What did she say?
So they were talking about, they were doing their letters for the parents for the project. And I was standing next to Kinsley, yes, it was Kinsley and Margot. And then Elijah was on the other side of the table. He was talking to me about the Minecraft movie.
Oh, yeah?
He was real excited about the Minecraft movie. I think they saw it or they were going to see it. I can't remember. Anyways,
wait, who was that again?
Elijah.
Okay.
And
ADHD brain. Okay.
Squirrel.
No, it just went blank. Okay, so Elijah.
And he goes, he says something, and I'm like, I got to be honest with you guys. I don't know much about Minecraft at all. I'm not seen the movie. I've not played the game. Like, that's not really my thing. And Margot goes, then why are you talking to us about it?
Okay, that little brat.
I go, Margot, he was talking to me about it.
She's such a little brat.
She's got an attitude.
I know
sometimes.
she does. It's maddening. It's maddening.
Like, I wish I could donkey you today.
It's maddening. And I've been trying to teach her, Carrie and I both, she doesn't realize, as most people do when they're kind of like Margot, when you say things actually matters and how you say them sometimes and who you say them to. Like, I get that's the wit that comes off the top of your head, and that girl is gifted at wit.
She's
also
clever.
Can make you feel bad. Not intentionally. She really has a good heart. She said something. Did I share that? No, I think I shared it with you or somebody. But, your kids, it's hard to see them grow up.
Yeah.
And I think even at 43 and with, only one middle schooler, one about to go into middle school, one still in third grade going into fourth, even now, it's like they're still small to me. They're still kids. And especially Margot. She's such a brat. But anyway, like there comes a point when you're parenting where you become very aware all of a sudden that they're not a kid and they're not a baby anymore. And treating them like that makes them feel weird. Which is heartbreaking when you find that out. Because the only way you find that out is when you do something weird.
And then they tell you it's weird.
Yeah, so like I used to like every night bury my face in her chin and neck, and I just kiss on her and whatever, and she'd laugh and giggle, and then one night, there I'm, just out of nowhere. I haven't put her to bed in a long time, but I just kind of being goofy, and she's like, Dad, you're so weird. That makes me so uncomfortable. And I was like,
no.
Oh. And then we were talking about it later, and she's like, yeah, you just make me uncomfortable. But she didn't. It's her being sarcastic and witty, but it was hurtful because I'm like heartbroken that she's not a kid anymore and that I don't get to be that kind of a dad anymore, which has been my favorite thing ever. And
right, because toddler and young kid is your thing.
Yes, 100%. My favorite years of parenting were from like 2 to 8, 2 to 7, 2 to 6, probably somewhere in there. Love that. Love it. So it was hurtful though, the way she was saying it. Yeah. So I went to Carrie and I was like, you got to help her. Cause she's said some other things that make me feel bad. It's like, it just kind of hurts my heart a little bit. And like, you don't have to say it that way. Cause that makes me feel like a creeper. Right. And I don't like, if she thinks that I'm a creep, that really hurts my heart. Yeah. So Carrie talked to her and she was like, so I sat down with her and then I told her what you said and she starts welling up in tears and she didn't really mean it that way. And, but it's still like, even if she didn't mean it that way, she still kind of was saying in a Margot way, Dad, I'm not a little girl anymore.
Which is still heartbreaking. Man, we're going down a sad path today.
Maybe we should. Quick Fire Thursday.
Oh, we're depressed.
Your kids grow up too fast, though.
They do.
They grow up in weird ways, though. And, you know, you look back now, I think back to me being 12, 13. In my mind, everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now I look at my parents, I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry. Like, I definitely took you for granted. Thought you were in my way.
Mm-hmm.
You did a lot more for me than I realized at the time. Thought I had it all figured out.
Yep.
You know, that's where Lily is right now.
You're in a wild range.
Oh man, girl dad's not fun.
Have kids
anymore.
They said
Girl
it'll be
dad's fun early on. Girl dad not fun right now.
No,
Not fun.
ugh. Just wait. Teenage years are the worst. That's what I hear.
If I get told, hold up one more time.
You know what my kids call me?
What?
Bruh.
Yeah, they do that.
I'm like, no.
I got that one time, and I'm like, you don't talk. You don't.
I'm like, I'm not your bruh.
I have lines, boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So with Carrie, she did this one time. She called me dude.
That's not
Oh, man. Oh, you want to see me get mad. I'm like, I am not your dude.
You know what I'm not allowed to call Keith?
What?
Honey. He thinks it's patronizing.
I refuse to let Carrie call me baby. That's the worst thing. That's the worst name I've ever heard in my whole life. I grew up with people, oh baby. Don't do that. So I get it, Keith. Honey is my version of baby. I mean, men are weird sometimes.
A little bit.
You don't. Okay, I came across a video, and it's been really. I want to get your thoughts on it.
Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Thinking of spouses.
Okay.
And, you know, I think we live in and I don't mean this in a negative way necessarily, though the extreme of it I do, because I disagree with all extremes. But
only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Mm-hmm. Do they must. We live in a hyper feminist world, but I don't mean that like feminism.
Okay.
Like softer, more emotional,
Okay.
feminine.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. A more feminine world where more of that kind of like, especially that drive of being in touch with your emotions and whatever. But it's kind of shifted where that's like the emotional side has taken like precedent over a lot of like rational kind of masculine kind of approaches to life with a lot of things. Again, I don't mean this in a bad way, but in our marriages and relationships, that's kind of happened too. Mm-hmm. And there's a reaction against men being men in the ways that men are men without it being termed toxic somehow.
Oh, yeah.
So masculinity, I do think is largely viewed as toxic in all of its components because of this kind of hyper push towards emotionalism and kind of the softer side. And you've seen it in church. So like if you look in churches, they're very feminine. So, and I don't mean that in a bad way. What I mean is like soft, emotionally driven, and those are good things. But that rational side, kind of hands-on side, is not as prevalent as it used to be. Now, part of that is just men not being spiritual leaders anymore, and they don't deserve to be because they don't. So part of this is men needing to step up and stop being idiots.
That's not a thing.
You heard it. You heard it right
Heard
here.
it here first. Well, you gotta do your...
Start acting like men in your homes. But anyway, okay. So here was the thing. I was thinking about relationships, thinking about marriage. And there's been a big push over the years of like, every man is very well aware of how they're supposed to love their wife. That is like the thing that you are kind of taught. And that's championed in whatever, especially the emotional side. But this person said this. I thought this was weird, so I want to hear your thoughts. Said, for wife to husband, stop loving your husband the way that you want to be loved. And start loving your husband the way that he needs to be loved. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes.
How so?
So, I don't know how you do marriage counseling when you, premarital counseling. But when we did premarital counseling with the pastor from AFC, he didn't make us read it, but he had us do the love languages. And that's what he said quite often. He's like, you understand now how you accept love and how your partner accepts love. You're going to try to love them the way you need to be loved. So like if you are...
And that makes you feel like you're loving them.
Yes. So if you are if you like gifts and that's how you feel loved because it means that somebody's thought of you, whatever, you're going to give the gifts. But if that's like low on your partner scale, they're just going to be like, this means nothing to me. But you're not like spending quality time with them, for example, and that's how they accept love. So they're not going to feel loved. He said that that's your love tank, and your love tank's going to get empty really fast.
Right.
So you got to pay attention to that. So Keith is not a touchy-feely guy. Don't know if you guys knew that. You give him a hug, it's going to be awkward.
I'm going to give him a hug.
It's going to be awkward.
Sometimes I think your kids are aliens.
I don't know.
Sometimes.
Well, they get it for me. I'm a physical touch person.
Okay.
With
people you care about.
With the people I like.
Right.
I'm not saying I don't like you. I'm saying
people
like,
you're very comfortable with and
yes,
close to.
Yes. And my kids just give it out like it's candy. Anyways.
That they do.
So it's sometimes hard for us, and sometimes I have to say, hey, could you just hold my hand? You know, like I just have to remind him every now and then. And in the same way, he has to remind me that he's a quality time kind of guy. But his idea of quality time is not a normal quality time because, you know, ADHD and he's got to do like 5 million things at once. Anyways, but if he's just sitting next to me on the couch and we're watching a movie together, he counts that as quality time because we're physically close and we can talk about the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
But it has to be like two things at once. It's never just sit and talk.
Of course.
So I just have to like be mindful of those things when, you know, when we get like snippy and we're just like, let's check in and see what's happening. I agree with that. I think it's right. I think that in a society where we're very me oriented, it's important, like, especially when you get married, to say, okay, I know my person needs this. I might not need it, but they need it, so I need to do that for them.
Yeah, when I think of Carrie likes... Now, I've never done the love languages thing.
But, I mean, it's pretty easy to figure out.
Right. Like how you feel love and what makes you feel loved. Carrie's definitely loves just getting random messages and likes that emotional stuff. So the heart, you know, or the kissy faces or just checking in, that kind of thing. Likes to be flirted with, you know, those sorts of things, but very emotionally driven. And so if I'm emotionally connected to her, you know, and I think most women in some way want to be emotionally cared for. The problem is that does nothing for me.
Right. And like, it usually doesn't.
You can send me as many kissy faces as you want, and that does not tell me that you think about me at all. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, you don't feel connected to that. I feel kind of gross. I just do. I don't like that kind of stuff. I'm not an emotional guy. I get emotional when I talk about Jesus and I preach, but I'm not an emotional guy, just in general. And I think you're right. Like, we're kind of conditioned to be in the tunnel of us and how I like to be loved. And so oftentimes, like, as Carrie and I have been navigating our marriage in this kind of second phase of our life, we're still figuring out, like, and it's important to communicate these things. It's hard to do sometimes because, you're not conditioned also to have confrontation and work things out. But
what is healthy confrontation?
Right. Yeah, that's another conversation. Not running away and not leaving and not talking to everyone else about it. Can someone put that on a loud horn in Crawfordsville, Indiana? Can someone just put a bullhorn out there?
You need like
Want healthy confrontation?
a fat head that just goes
This one.
to just hold it up.
I think I'm too easily angered today. I need to check in on my mind.
I think we need a nap.
Well, anyway, so one of the things that I've recognized as I think about premarital counseling and marital counseling from here on, this is where I've been kind of shifting in my own life. I was kind of taught for so long that it's not okay to be a man, but not on purpose. Well, maybe on purpose, but not explicitly.
Yeah.
Like the things that make you a man, like being rational, the physical side of being a man, especially in a marriage, like that is a real need.
Oh yeah, I need the dad voice to come out every now and then.
Yeah, like being that kind of assertive, authoritative, but not in a destructive way.
Yeah.
But all those things have been kind of largely labeled as wrong.
Right.
They're all toxic.
Yeah.
And you hear that.
Because everybody has the victim mentality that everything that happens to them is like traumatic. Yeah.
Yeah, or to their friends.
Yeah.
Or to something they saw on TV. But one of the biggest things that I hear often is, when I think about a marriage being healthy and recognizing love languages is one thing.
Yes.
But there's also man and woman, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
And there's the very heavy emotional connection that women need, and that's championed. And now men are supposed to be very emotional, which means that the wife loving the husband the way the wife wants to be loved should be enough. And if that's not enough, then it's toxic.
Right.
Well, let me tell you something, ladies. Men are men, and they need to be loved differently.
Yeah.
And that oftentimes means physical, but that and not holding hands and being flirtatious, that in a marriage, that oftentimes means physical. And that's been deemed so wrong. And what you hear so often is like the detachment of that. It's like, well, a guy will say, I've heard this so many times, a guy will say, this is a weird quick fire turn. It's
turning into like a family discussion.
Yeah. A guy will say like, we haven't been intimate in months or weeks or something. And it's like, well, I'm tired and we're busy and, and then it's like, well, but then he's not telling, he's not flirting or he's not being emotionally connected or, whatever. But then the whole time he's just like, it's like, maybe he does these little things here or whatever, and it starts to grow a wedge. But so often, I think what's happening now is marriages are feeling strained because we want to love each other the way that we want to be loved. And instead of saying, okay, so let's use it this way. If I'm tired, but I know that I'm feeling a bit disconnected from my husband, then maybe I should love him the way that he needs to be loved. And if I'm the husband and I'm feeling a bit disconnected from my wife, maybe I need to love her the way that she needs to be loved and not love her the way that I want to be loved. And I think there's a great tension that needs to be worked through in our relationships. So on the emotional and the physical side of being a man and a woman, I think we need to do a better job of being more aware of our spouse.
Yeah.
So, like, most men, you send them kissy faces in a messenger, they don't care. I mean, they care, but it's not like,
Right.
oh, my wife's thinking about me.
It doesn't make you giddy.
Oh, I hope she sends me flowers today. Like, no.
Please don't send Josh flowers. They will kill him.
No. Like, men are like, okay, are you going to follow that up with anything, or are you going to go to sleep later?
Right.
Because that determines whether I like this message or not. and again, vice versa. Like your wife does not need, your bicep pictures. She does not need that. But you sending her kissy faces might be the thing that he's thinking about me. I'm so glad that my husband thinks about me. But and then the love languages thing I think is really good too to add into that mix. But I've just been really challenged with, for a long time in my own marriage. It was me complaining about not being loved the way that I wanted to be loved. But then thinking that that's what her love needed to be too. And so it was just constantly trying to love her the way that I wanted to be loved, and instead of the way that she needed to, and her vice versa to me. That's where the breakdowns in marriages tend to happen so often, is we're thinking about ourselves.
Yeah. So don't be selfish in love.
I think that's really right. So I'll speak, I'll give some advice. Let your husband be a man.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, men seek not recognition in I need a gold star,
Right.
but validation for if you're a real man, how hard you're working to take care of your family and whatever. Like those words of affirmation. Hey, I appreciate that you're working so hard for this family. You're holding it together, and I'm deeply grateful. Yeah. Do you know how far that will go with your husband? That'll go 20 miles with your husband to feel that, because we're made this way as men. Like we're supposed to be providers and caretakers, and that doesn't mean we're the only ones. Like Carrie works hard, it's not that, but to get that word of affirmation is, I'm completing how I'm made.
I think that the thread that ties men and women together is that we all just want to know that we're seen by the people that love us and we love.
In the ways that we need to be seen, not the ways that you want to be seen. So giving those words of affirmation. I remember watching a video of a wife that she recorded it, and he wasn't aware of it, but he was struggling because their life wasn't quite what he had been working so hard to get. Not that they weren't rich or something, but he was just struggling. And she just turned on her camera and she just unloaded, like, you have worked so hard and you've given us a life that, whatever. And he starts crying. And then I start crying. Aww. And I'm like, oh, that's all a man ever wants to hear. I think where I'm at today is I'm thinking about where my own marriage has been and Carrie and I have had to come through, and some of the marriages that I've witnessed or that I try to talk people through, and not knowing the right things to say all the time, but now kind of going through it, being more aware of it's okay to love each other the way they need to be loved, and it's important to do that. So if you're feeling distant in your marriage or your relationship, like, that's what's wrong. More often than not, that's what's wrong. Communicate how you need to be loved. Yeah. Communicate that well. Understand the opposite sex, the ways that you need to be understood, but communicate that well. And then if both, try loving each other the way the other person needs to be loved. You'll find out that you'll start getting loved the way that you need to be loved a lot more freely or forced than it used to be or used to feel, And even if right now the communication is, would you do this for me? Or this, even saying like, man, it would mean a lot if you would fill up my gas tank when my gas tank's low as a wife, let's say. Like, for you to go do that and me to walk out to my car after it's empty and then it's full, might be like, but then don't get mad after they do that because, well, you only did that because no, you told them to, and that's how a man works.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Oh, I'll fill up the gas tank. That makes me feel good too.
Right, because men are problem solvers.
Yes.
If you give them a problem to solve, they love it.
Absolutely.
They love it.
Let's just always be a problem.
Always be a problem.
Always be a problem.
Always be a problem, ladies.
And your man's on it.
I'll be a problem. Did you know?
What?
Of course you do. You're a dude. So I was talking to, sorry, not dude. Buzzword.
I'm good. No.
You're a man.
You're fine calling me a dude. Carrie's not allowed.
So, anxiety.
Uh-huh.
Reading into people a lot. That's my thing. So, if anything shifts in a mood, I can detect it pretty quickly. So, asking Keith, like, are you mad at me? Or what are you thinking about? Do you know that guys can just shut off their brains and think about nothing?
Yeah. Actually,
nothing. Literally. Zero thoughts. Just vibes.
yeah, you think that we're over here stewing all the time.
No, there's absolutely nothing in there. Just blankness. That must be nice.
It is.
It must be real nice.
We shut off our humanity.
I wish I could do that.
And
I just want to be done with the brain.
yeah.
Want to be not in there anymore.
Well, I mean, it's important to know because especially with how we're created differently, our demeanor can easily say to you whether we love you or not.
Right.
Whether we're brain dead or not in that moment. But being able to say that and be like, no, I'm not.
Nothing about anything. Seriously? Nothing?
I'm just sitting
Not
here
a thing.
watching TV.
What?
Like, I know.
What is that like?
I know. And it's hard for us because we don't know that sometimes you're dwelling on things and really wrestling through some things. And we're like, well, why don't you just go chill? That's what I'll tell Carrie. I'll be like, just go chill.
You know what's hilarious though? Is like this. We could also talk about the differences between external processors and internal processors.
I know.
Like
this whole podcast is an external process of me.
I don't know why we're talking about this, but here we go. So Keith's external.
Yeah.
Obviously. And once he gets everything out, he's good. He's done. He's done with everything. And I'm still sitting here like, I'm still thinking about the first thing you said.
I know. It's hard.
It's awful.
It's very hard. And I know. And yeah, I'm sorry. It's just how we are. I've got to get it out. I got to hear it 23 times. And then I know what I want to say or
And
do.
it's like, this is where Ella gets it. Like, even if he doesn't exactly feel it, it still gets said. I'm like, okay, now I need to know, like, for real, what you're thinking.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
For real.
Yeah, I'll have to do a lot of caveats in conversations with Carrie, especially if it's a conversation about us. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I just need you to let me talk. And Carrie, one of the ways that she needs to be loved is when we're having conversation or we're working through an argument or whatever, like she needs good back and forth.
Right.
Not all the time. Like if we're in a really those bad arguments, you know what I'm talking about. Don't say anything. She probably just needs to go cool off. But, you know, in a regular conversation, like she needs that kind of back and forth. And I'm just like, I need you to not take this how I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
But I don't know any other way to say it right now. And so.
Super fun.
Just say it. So, yeah, it's different.
I like that God made us different, but sometimes I'm just like, this is stupid.
Well,
no offense.
It's stupid to you because you're different.
We're all different.
So, yeah, this is a weird quick fire Thursday. I had no idea we'd end up talking about this, but I when I look around at my church, when I look around at married Christians in general, there's a lot of problems.
Yeah.
A lot of marriages that are struggling. A lot of disconnect. Been through it myself very recently. I've been very open about that with my church, with my board. You know, Carrie and I have worked through a lot. And we have a long way to go to repair all the stuff that's happened over the past few years. But as I'm becoming more and more mature and aware relationally, and with who I am and who Carrie and I are as a couple, and becoming more aware of how the world's kind of conditioned us in particular ways away from kind of, it's okay to say that I'm different as a man and you're different as a woman. And those are not toxic.
Right.
Those are good differences. And it would be wise for Christians to recognize that difference more and value those differences instead of tearing them down because, well, that's not emotional enough or it's too authoritative or, whatever. No, like we're different. We're different and value that. And I think in our marriages, as I, again, look around my church, I see a lot of the same mistakes that Carrie and I made. It's love. Look at your husband. See him as a man. So, fixer, provider, physical, rational.
Sometimes.
Yes. Not always emotional, but emotional at the right times. Yeah, there are toxic sides, just like there are toxic sides on the feminine side. Yep. Recognize who he is as a man, and then love him that way, the way that that he needs to be loved as you recognize those things. And men, same exact thing.
Yeah.
Recognize how your wife is. Don't, okay, you want to be intimate. I get it. No duh. Everyone knows that. She doesn't need to be all the time, but she definitely needs you emotionally available and there and thinking about her and letting her know you're thinking about her. Because again, a guy just assumes, you know, they need that emotional reaffirmation the way that we need that, not necessarily physical, but that leader provider kind of affirmation. It's emotional, but in a much different way, more utilitarian way. So recognize that in each other and start loving each other the way that they need to be loved. The other needs to be loved and not the way that you want to be loved.
I mean, it's like when I was joking earlier about us all being different, like it's really cool that God made us so like infinitely different. Like we're all made in his image and we're all different. And that's really cool.
It's crazy cool. It is really cool.
But then he also gives us like, we've been talking about the Holy Spirit this week in my theology class, and it talks about how the Holy Spirit's work is always to draw us closer to Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
And how we're to be like allowing the Holy Spirit to work in our lives. And I think that a lot of times, I thought I was going to sneeze. Sorry. I think a lot of times letting the Holy Spirit transform us to be more like God will allow us to love other people, including our spouses, that much better. So like people are not kidding. Christians are not kidding. Keep God in the center of your marriage.
Yeah. And that fits so well with what we're saying right now.
Yeah.
If you are allowing the Holy Spirit to make you more like Jesus, I think to clarify, when it says draw you closer to Jesus, it's the Trinity. It's about restoring the image in you. God through the Spirit, in Christ through the Holy Spirit, will always direct your eyes beyond yourself. Always. Yeah. To the other person. So if you keep Christ at the center and you are daily in prayer and meditating on Scripture and in weekly worship, you're keeping Christ in the center, you will always look to your spouse, not through a selfish lens of, oh, this is what I like, so that's what he likes or she likes. You will always look at them first and think about their needs before you think about your own. And maybe that's actually like a good caveat and a good move into what it means to be a church member and a good church person is, recognize and get to know the people in your church.
Yeah.
And as you get to know each other, you'll learn how to love each other.
Yeah.
Because you will think about them before you think about yourself. But in marriage, keep Christ first. For sure. Do I think that in order to do that, you have to do devotions together all the time and pray together all the time? I think it's a noble try for people to do if you can do that. But I don't think that's like a guarantee.
Right.
I think it'll bond you together in some special ways, but it doesn't mean that you can't be bonded together in special ways if you can't do that.
Right.
Again, the main thing is keeping Christ in the center of your life. And if you are doing that and your spouse is doing that, then and you're leading your kids that way, then Christ is the center of your marriage.
Absolutely.
And you will just start to become less selfish in how you love your spouse.
Yeah.
And honestly sit back and say, hey, you know what? She holds my family together. She holds my girls together. She's their guiding light emotionally, and not taking life as seriously as I do. Because I think men take life very seriously.
Yeah.
Most men do. You just feel like you just feel like everything's on your shoulders as a man. And it's not a bad thing for us. Like, we're okay with that pressure. But we take life very seriously because it feels like our family their well-being is on our back. Whether both adults work or not doesn't matter to me. That's just how men are built, and it's okay to say that. And so Carrie is that, like, hey, we don't have to think about all that. She's that great balance. Again, we're created differently, and we need each other for a reason. And Carrie keeps me grounded, and I keep Carrie moving forward. And it's just, and now the trick is coming out of, in this second phase of our marriage, it's, okay, so how do we love each other the way that how do I love her the way that she needs to be loved?
Yeah.
And make myself more available that way. So I do little things. I'm a gift giver, and she loves surprises. She loves gifts. So yesterday, so Carrie did this thing. I've been overwhelmed, depressed for a long time, get overwhelmed in a lot of small things. But one of the things that I do at the church is I'm big in administrative leadership. I do a lot of financial stress here, the way that I would even at home. We got to keep it on the up and up. Doing finances at home is the biggest burden and stressor to me. So I handed that over to Carrie because I just couldn't, just couldn't do it. And I think I'll get back to that someday, maybe get healed from all of that tension and stress. But anyway, we found ourselves, just in some credit card debt and whatever. And I was just defeated and overwhelmed. And, we talked about some changes we were going to make. And anyway, she's, without saying a word, just over a 3 or 4 month period, she got it all paid off. We were out at Taco Bell one day, or maybe the Big R, whatever the store is called now, Stock and Field or whatever. I don't know. Runnings. I
think it's
maybe.
Runnings.
Yeah, whatever it is now. And I brought it up or something in the truck on the way there, and she was like, "Oh no, it's all paid off. I was like, we're out." She's like, "Yeah." It was like a whole weight fell off. So we went to Taco Bell afterwards. We had a splurge.
Celebration.
So anyway, I love doing little things for people, but I love for Carrie doing things that surprise her. And so when she ruins the surprise, I get super ticked off, super upset. So Carrie's learning. It's better to act surprised and say nothing. Just say nothing.
Yeah.
Let me have my moment.
Yeah.
And all will be fine. And don't ever tell me that you knew. Just hold it in till your grave. We'll find out in heaven, and I won't care at that point.
Heaven.
But I will care now. So don't ever tell me. So anyway, yesterday, I knew this would mean a lot to her. This is one of those things that, this is how Carrie loves getting gifts. She likes these things. So I went to Home Depot, and I got this giant 11-foot umbrella system, and she got our taxes done too, and we're getting a return from that. So I was like, okay, so how do I say I love you and thank you? She had been wanting all these things, and I'm that rational idiot that's like, oh, it's a waste of money and all that stuff. She wanted a rug for the deck, and she, so yesterday all day long, I feel this It was a nightmare. But I got this 11-foot umbrella system set up. I got new cushions that after I told her we're going to keep our old outdoor cushions for the patio furniture because they're so expensive. But I was just like, she's done a lot for the family. She's endured a lot for me. And this is just a way, so I got that, and I got these cool white end tables and these new cushions, and I got this rug to put on the deck. And she came home, I had it all done, and she was on cloud nine, just cloud nine. For a man, it was like to hear her say, "Oh, are you kidding me?" It's like, yeah, I did it.
And she bragged on you. She sent me a picture and everything.
Oh, did she?
Nice.
Oh, okay.
I need to come over and read on your deck.
Yeah,
now.
you will, because it's totally cool.
It's awesome.
And there's LED lights under the umbrella, so you can read at night. But anyway, it's just a way of it's just a current example of how I've tried to love Carrie more in the way she needs to be loved, and what that's done to my relationship. She's still figuring out her thing.
Yeah.
Again, we're not brought up to think about men the way that men need to be thought about. And so it's kind of like mind shifting a little bit because you feel icky, but we're getting better at it. And to see her kind of just enjoy it and see her just excited about it and let her be excited about it, I knew that's one of the best ways to love her. And it kind of affected her whole night. So again, just a current example of what I would not have done. And moments where still sometimes being a man and thinking about how I need to feel good first, and wanting, I'll love her by making sure that we're okay later, kind of a thing. Taking a step back and being like, okay, I'm being too hard.
Yeah.
And, that's not how she needs to be loved. Like, yeah, she can love me by being like, hey, I didn't splurge the past 2 weeks. That's a great way to love your husband sometimes. But, I needed to love her that way. So I just want to, I'm glad you agreed with it because I wasn't sure, you feel toxic sometimes when you talk about these things. But
no, I definitely agree. It is so easy to just sit back and only think about yourself and what I need and what I don't like, blah, blah, blah. But it takes a lot of maturity to really learn your person.
Yeah.
Really understand what makes them tick.
Yep.
And then just make life easier for them.
Yeah. So if I could give a couple pieces of advice, I would say, one, if your marriage is feeling distant and you feel, because you can only feel you.
Yep.
You feel like you're not being loved, the worst thing you can do is shut down about it.
Right.
And not communicate it. So go talk to your spouse and say, here it is. Now, you might need some marital counseling because there is likely going to be a reaction, as there often is. Everyone's a victim of something, especially if you've shut down for a while. But it's so important to start that conversation. So don't shut down and don't close it out. And the second piece of advice is own and recognize the things that you're doing that are more about you than about them. So again, you're loving them the way you want to be loved instead of the way they need to be loved.
Yeah.
Ask yourself that question. Am I loving my spouse the way they need to be loved?
Yeah.
Which means, do I make a list? Like, here is who my partner is. Here's who my person is. Here's what is meaningful. And am I doing that?
Yeah.
Or am I just doing what I want? Okay, so that's, okay, I recognize there's separation. Here's how I feel. Now I've also taken the step to say, but here's who my person is. I wonder if they feel like I'm loving them.
We don't do it as much as we should, but we used to do like a marital check-in.
Oh, yeah.
And we would do like a percentage-wise, how do you feel like we're doing?
Oh,
and if it was under a certain percent, then we would have a serious discussion about it. But if we're both like, feels like 85, just regular life, that kind of thing, then we're good.
Yep.
We don't do it as much as we should, but we used to do that, and it helped a lot, just like to start the conversation.
Yeah. And don't go in defensive.
Yeah.
You're not there to attack.
Well, when you both come in knowing that this is a check-in, let's fix things that we need to fix together. Like setting the stage is just like 90% of the communication part.
Absolutely. And then when you come in, if all you're both saying is you, you're already wrong.
Right.
Because you're both doing the same thing. You're only thinking about you right now.
And a lot of times when we would have these check-ins, it's like, man, I am just like, I'm just overwhelmed. Or like it's stuff like that. It turned out to be a lot of like the struggles that we were having personally that the other person could help with, which it just worked out really well. So
yeah, do that. Here's how I feel. I'm feeling distant. I'm not feeling heard or seen or whatever but you have to, it's about you, not about what you think they are doing or not doing. So if you go into a marriage checkup or you're feeling distant in a relationship and you're like, well, I'm going to go set them straight, you've already done it wrong. So own your feelings, communicate those clearly. And again, like you said, oftentimes you get, your person's going to speak into that. Just stop the finger pointing.
Yeah.
So don't shut down, have the communication. Think about why you're feeling distant. Think about why they might be feeling distant. And then ask yourself, are we loving each other the way we need to be loved or the way we want?
Yeah.
Am I loving them the way that I want to be loved? And I think that would fix a lot. And I think in my church and in every church, and again, it's such an important conversation to have and recognize your selfish nature and get back on track. I'm here to say, like, you might feel like it's been a couple of years and you are now just roommates and you're just, they're only doing it because I told them to, or whatever you say. Like, from experience, I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
And when you get to that point, it's even harder to think that it can work. If you're willing to take a step back and own your stuff and have those, it's never too far gone.
Yeah.
But don't let it get there.
Yeah.
Like, you can do these marriage check-ins. You can become more aware of each other and start loving them the way they need to be loved.
Yeah.
And it will go so far in mending any distance that you have. So there you are. Like, wives, love your husbands the way they need to be loved, and husbands, love your wives the way they need to be loved, not the way that you want to be loved.
Yeah.
And if you both go that 100% for each other, it'll be fine. It'll work out.
And if you need help, talk to that dude.
No, I'm serious. Yeah. Like, why do you think I'm here? I don't get a lot of marriage counseling.
Yeah.
I don't get people stopping in to say, we need to talk. We need to work through some stuff. And to be honest, I didn't deserve it the past few years, honestly. I don't think there was a lot of, I didn't realize it at the time. I don't think there was a lot of integrity, and not in a bad way. Just, we just weren't aware even at home.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if your marriage is not in a good place, you need to come and talk to me.
Yeah.
100%. And we'll have a real conversation. That relationship, the moment you said I do to each other, that person became God's will for your life. Now, that doesn't mean, listen, if someone veers off that path, becomes abusive or, adulterous, anyone that knows me knows, like, there's a cut.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about those things. I'm saying in a healthier spot, if we can remember that person just became God's will for my life. When you think about it that way, it changes how you work through things. So if your marriage isn't okay, or if you're struggling, or if you just need someone to speak in the middle, I'm your pastor. I'm right here. It doesn't cost you anything.
It's free.
It's free.
Kinda.
And I'll tell you what you need to hear, and we'll work through it together. But man, that is God. That person's God's will for your life.
Mm-hmm.
So take it seriously, and it's worth fighting for. It's worth working through.
And I think it's really good to hear that you don't have to do it all alone. Like if it feels like you've just stalled, you don't have to go at it alone. You got a pastor. There's plenty of resources to help you create a better marriage and a
Don't
better
make
family.
me call you in here because some are getting close. Like
we see all.
I see everything. No. I mean, I don't know. A weird quick fire Thursday that turned into a very long conversation.
Sorry, guys. It's important though.
It was just us today.
It's okay. Maybe nobody listens. Nobody cares. It's okay.
We just helped ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Caitlin, love Keith the way that he needs to be loved.
I try.
And I will do my best to keep trying with Carrie.
It's the best we can do.
All right. Guys, we love you. We'll see you later.
Bye. Do.